you might be answering the next question, and if you're not, we'll get to it. But the next question we have for you is, what's the weirdest place you've done stand-up? So tell this story.
Well, this is not it. I'd have to think about that for a second. But this is, I guess, similar. It could be. I end up meeting. Okay, so at York, I knew a lot of people who, like I said, ended up being like pretty big. So one guy was like, "Hey, man, like like I do this, I do that. I don't even understand where this came from." Some guy contacted me, or one of my friends, or someone I knew, and I'm from Port Credit, okay, which is like outside of Etobicoke. And there's a banquet that we do shows every year, and do you want to come and put on a show? We'll pay you a budget. Like we have like a legit, like it might have been like almost $2,000 budget. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, like $2,000. The headliner does 45 to 50 minutes. The MC does 30 and the other act does 30. It's like a full on show. I think the mayor of Mississauga was there, like Hazel or whatever her name is. Like it was packed. Okay. Like, so we get to this place. And again, the other comics will remain nameless. I can tell you one was Monty Scott, but the other one will remain nameless. We get to this place, and I'm supposed to be middling, okay? Monty was emceeing, and the nameless person was headlining. We walk in, and my name is everywhere, okay? They printed out a banner. I still have it in my garage, my parents' garage. It's like a 6 by like 15 banner that says "Mark DeBonis headliner," and I'm like on the tables, Mark DeBonis, these little table things. And I was doing stand-up at this point for under a year, way under a year. And I go to Monty. I'm like, Monty, like, what the hell's happening here? And Rogers was there, and they wanted to interview me because I was the headliner. And I'm trying to tell them, I'm like, I'm not the headliner. And they were like, well, we got to do this interview with you. And we did an interview, and they thought I was on drugs because I was so confused and scared and messed up of what was happening. I think I was just blankly staring into the camera. So the headliner shows up, and he's like, I'm not doing it. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, I'm not headlining because your name is there, not mine. And I'm like, look, man, this is obviously a mistake. Like, it's obviously stupid that my name is painted around this room, but you're the only one who can do the time. You need to headline. And he's like, no, I'm not headlining. And he starts getting mad at me, and I felt bad for whatever reason. So I ended up like reducing his pay, still making more than me and Monty combined. And I told him that he had to do 30 minutes. So I now have to headline this show. And the audience was probably 100 feet from the stage. It was not a good setup.
Yeah, like
I can't even. They pulled me off. It was bad. They pulled me off at about, I don't even know, maybe the 25-minute mark, and they never did a comedy show again. They literally told me to keep the banner because we're never doing comedy again. They're like, take that. Because they said that at the beginning of the night. I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. Can I keep this? And they're like, no, this cost us like $1,000. We're just gonna print out the name for the comedians next year and put the names over. And they just told me to take it because they're never doing comedy again. And that was a very traumatic experience.
Wow. Mark DeBonis killed comedy in Port Credit.
Good. Maybe deserved to be dead.
Yeah.
It was a benefit for rich people to raise money for firecrackers. I don't think they needed to do comedy there. It was literally like,
what?
It was for like, it might have even been around this time, like for May 24 or whatever.
Oh,
like,
I see.
They were literally raising money because they were all loaded. Like they all had yachts and boats or whatever. And we're like, yeah, we're going to raise money for the 4th of July or, whatever. So that was what the whole event was. And it was brutal.
Why can't raise one person, or like, why do they need a fundraiser to do this? Like,
that's what people with too much money in boats do. Raise money for firecrackers instead of normal things. That was.
You mentioned the stage being, or people being way far away from the stage.
A dance floor.
Yeah, it's always a dance floor. There's a dance floor in front, and then you arrive and you're like, fucking dance floor, and they don't have any of the tables on the dance floor because they
dance floor of death.
So you're just talking to this giant like chasm between you and the audience is the worst.
It's brutal.
Really, the ideal formula for stand-up, especially pre-COVID, was jam as many people into a tight space with low ceilings, close to the stage, close to each other, so that the laughter is contagious. But
it's the energy.